Welcome to the Gabe Gallucci Golf Show.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Hope you guys are having a phenomenal day. Hope your week is great. For those of you on the East Coast, golf season is upon you. We're heading towards the end of March now. It's got to feel good. I'm sending you some good juju. I know in some parts of Eastern Canada, they got some snow this week, which kind of put a hamper on the morale. But hopefully for those of you on the East Coast, in the Northeast at least, golf season is coming your way very soon. And I am fingers crossed that everything is going to be wonderful and dandy for you. Solo pod this week. Dave is in transit again, traveling. But before I was set to record today, he just called me, and we have a bag alert for Dave. I'm not going to share it today because I can't do that without him. But he and I are just absolute degenerates when it comes to golf equipment. I think, we're the best support and worst enemies when it comes to purchases and stuff. So we have a bag alert for Dave that's coming next week, and I can't wait to talk about it because it's such, knowing Dave and I's friendship. Like, it's just the phone call from the store and the type of conversation. Like, I wish I could record these, and maybe next time I'll have to record one of them and play it for you guys on the podcast because it's a lot. It's a lot. So anyway, excited for that. And that'll be coming next week's pod when Dave's back. So stay tuned for that because I'm really excited to share. In other gear news, I have a very cool announcement. I have my very first brand partnership that I'm doing. I have partnered with Kiko Golf Gloves. Okay. So as you guys know, I have never promoted a product with a discount code, nothing on this channel. I have never had any brand deals. And a lot of that has been strategic because I have been offered before to have certain brand deals, but I felt like that product didn't have the value for me. And I just didn't feel like that would be worth pushing onto you guys. I'm not here to tell you guys about anything that I personally don't use and believe in. And I hope that you guys have seen that, and I've demonstrated that over the past few years of doing this. You guys have seen anything I've promoted has never been, I've never had an attachment to it just because I found value. Now, where this came into play is the company DM'd me and said, hey, we've got a golf club that we think, can beat out everything you're currently using. And it's actually like a perfect serendipitous timing that they sent me this because I've been really struggling with golf gloves and the expense of them and running through them, right? My biggest issue with golf gloves is that not for the price, I run through a golf glove in a day and a half, right? With conventional Cabretta leather golf gloves. So I stopped using any premium brands, the Callaways, the Titleists, the FootJoys, all of that a while ago because it didn't make sense to spend upwards of $20, $25, $30 Canadian on a glove that I was going to get 1 to 2 days out of at best, and it was going to rip in the thumb and it would be over, right? So I have since just exclusively used Kirkland gloves because they last a little bit longer than those premium gloves, still don't last long enough, but at least the price of a pack of 4 is the same as buying, one premium golf glove. So I was able to get some mileage out of it. But the issue would come into, and you'll see this here, I basically have to tape up the thumbs of all of my golf gloves after about a day or so. If I'm lucky, right? So all of the golf gloves in my bag that I don't use in tournaments are these taped up golf gloves to just try and get a couple more days of life out of them. And that just became annoying because I also felt like the quality of the glove, like I just wasn't being able to get a good grip, right? And from a performance standpoint, I was kind of getting to that point, especially now going through all this journey with the swing. I'm kind of like, man, I've got to be definitely giving up something by doing this. Like I'm for how optimized I am with my shoes and how deep into the weeds you guys know I get. I'm like, I really have not put in any effort to make sure that my glove is up to par and to the standard that I hold everything else in my bag to. So they reached out and they said, hey, we've got a golf glove that we know is going to beat everything you've got. I was skeptical at first because I've heard that before. But they sent me one out And I couldn't believe it. Honestly, it took me 6 days to put a hole in this thing. And the hole was like so minor. Okay. And again, I'm not the typical golfer. I train, at a minimum 4 hours a day, hitting balls, getting reps in. Okay. And, at a max, I'm at 6 to 8 hours. Right. And that's hitting tons of balls, hitting tons of shots. The glove is on for probably 80% of that time frame, getting wear, getting reps, getting wear, getting reps. Here's a glove that I got from them, and this glove is on day 5. Okay, so just so you guys get a sense, this is on day 5, and I'm not even come close to putting a hole in this thing. It's still tight. It's still reactive. It hasn't gotten into that weird kind of funky zone that gloves get into after a couple days, especially with sweat and things like that. And I am pumped. I am pumped. So we've decided to move forward, and I'm going to be a brand ambassador for Kiko Golf Gloves. What makes this glove super cool, and this is one cool thing, and in my opinion, this is what makes this glove the GOAT of golf gloves. And I don't take that phrase lightly. It is made from 100% goat skin leather. So unlike traditional gloves that are made from cabretta leather, which is sheepskin, right? They're the first ever 100% goat skin leather golf glove. So it's a stronger fiber. It's more durable, and they have some proprietary methods that they've put the golf glove together. I guess, there's a way to assemble the glove and treat the leather in order to make it stronger, water resistant, and make it, the strongest glove on the market. Through testing, I am all in on this. And as you guys know, when I go all in on something, I am all in. And I'll be honest, you're going to see a course vlog coming out tomorrow on the channel. I'm finding better control with this glove because of how sturdy it is. There is a tactile feel, so you get all the great grip, you get all that. The glove feels like it's not flimsy. So at impact, there's also a nice bit of absorption, right? There's like you get that just the right amount of cushion, and you get good grip. I like a glove that's snug, and I can make it tighter if I need. So it fits great. It's designed very well, and then obviously it lasts. And price-wise, that's so important because this is priced as a premium glove, but with my discount code GG10 at checkout, gives you guys 10% off. So that's GG10, 2 Gs, 10. That gives you 10% off at checkout. But what I think provides the best value is that you're going to buy less gloves as a result. And that was a big thing for me over the past couple of years, is how do I save money on gloves? And I went down a route that was affordable, but I probably was giving up performance. And it's been really cool now to find something that is performance-based and looks really good, feels really good, and I know lasts. And for me, for how hard I train, like, guys, 5 days of doing this, and this glove fits like so good. The leather still feels very soft. I have, like, you're seeing the wear is just because I have black grips, but the feel of the glove and there's not even close to ripping through on the thumb, which for me is the worst part. And I just hate how quickly I've ripped through other gloves. I even did a test. I bought a FootJoy glove to do a test, and I was through it in a day and a half. So after testing this glove out, went and tried a FootJoy glove, ripped through it in a day and a half, and I just wasn't a fan. So GG10 at checkout, Kiko Golf Gloves. I've listed it in the description below. I'm all in on this. I appreciate you guys checking out the brand, and let me know what you think. And if you guys get one, please let me know in the comments. This is what I'm going to be using moving forward. You're going to see this in all my videos and everything. And I'm really, really excited for this partnership. So give them a follow, give them a look, and stay tuned for some cool content we're going to be doing showing the performance benefits of this golf glove. So that's super dope. Moving on. So what's awesome about having a good coach and having a good relationship with your coach is their ability to call you out constructively. And about a week and a half ago, Max Max and I got on a phone call, and he constructively called me out. And it was good. It was something that needed to happen. And it was a very good conversation, very productive conversation, and has led to a productive result. But I'm going to kind of reverse engineer how we got there and just kind of give some insight as to what stemmed that. And so, as you guys have kind of seen this offseason, the swing has progressed. The game's good. I dropped a little practice highlights video. My aim and my ball control has probably been the best it's ever been. But what has creeped into my game is I've definitely fallen into some bad habits, which has exposed itself in a lack of speed. And what you guys haven't really seen on video, because I don't have access to the courses yet, which I will very soon because the courses are opening up, is me, full swinging with the driver and being able to kind of play a more all-out style of golf, right? I've focused a lot on approach play and wedges because that was obviously a glaring hole in my game the past couple of years. But the more complete game, you guys have yet to see. And Max and I played a match. We won the match, but during that match, there were a couple holes where, the driver, it was just glaringly obvious that the driver was just not in a good spot technique-wise. This isn't a gear thing. This is very much a Gabe technique thing. And a lot of that stemmed from some of the things I'd fallen into with my iron and approach swing that I was getting away with, but ultimately, for my North Star, was never going to work, right? And this is the amazing part of having the right people in your corner and having people who have a vested interest in your success and also understand your North Star as a player, right? So whether your goal is just to get to a single-digit handicap, whether your goal is just to turn pro, whatever it is, right? The goal is irrelevant. It's just the fact that your coach has to be aware of your North Star and help make sure that you are on the track to get there. So Max is, very aware of my North Star, being able to play in pro tournaments and compete at a high level. And so as a result, the standard at which he holds me to is high. And, he and I rarely have to have these kind of conversations because it's not so much he ever has to call me out for effort or anything like that. Where I run into issues, honestly, is I love testing and I love discovery and I love the experimentation. And sometimes that can take me too far off a path, right? So I can definitely go too far in a direction that maybe isn't a pro direction, right? So I get in trouble in one way. And then, where this latest situation kind of stemmed from was just a bit of, I for the last couple of years, it's been tough because the scoring has not been there, right? There have been times where my swing has looked really good on camera, but the scoring has never matched up. So now that my scoring is matching up, I kind of became very much like, no, this is what I do. Like, this is how I swing. Like, I am this, because I'm finally seeing scoring results that I just have not seen for the past 2.5 years. Like, and I've been so but desperately, to be honest, like desperately wanting to see this progression. So I had allowed certain things to slide because I was scoring, because I felt like, well, if I'm scoring, then that's what it is, right? But ultimately, this phase, if I allow these things to stay in my game, we're going to be detrimental long term. And if you watch my video, I dropped it's labeled PGA Tour Ground Force Coach Fixes My Swing, and it's my latest video with Ryan Hawley. I dropped it on March 26th. So if you're seeing this March 26th, it was up. We go through how I was collapsing my legs and had this really weak grip, and it was allowing me to hit this really reliable fade, but it was cannibalizing the things that actually make me athletic and allow me to attack a golf course, right? I'm a big vertical force guy. That's where I have an advantage, right? Especially being short, I'm 5'10" on a good day, but I can push an absurd amount of my body weight through my feet. But if I don't time those vertical forces correctly, I don't get the benefit of that. And I had fallen into this trap where I was basically firing them so late that I wasn't getting probably any transfer. And so it looked like I was swinging hard and swinging fast, but I wasn't really getting much out of it. And I started to feel that a little bit because I was going like I'm swinging this 4-iron like with a decent amount of effort and it's not going. Or I'm hitting this driver and it's not going. So so that was my the crux of my conversation with Max was basically he was like, dude, like I get that you're scoring, but the way you're going about this for your goal is just not going to be it. Which wasn't fun to hear because I'm like, come on, man. Like I'm finally scoring. Like, what do you like, oh man, really? Like what, like, you know, I'm finally scoring. Like what, like, why can't this be it? But he was right. And he was right. And Ryan kind of laid into me as well and was just like, dude, he's like, you cannot get to your goal swinging like this. So we've had to make some adjustments. But what's exciting is that through all the workout stuff I've been doing, through all the stuff I've been doing with my body, because the other thing too that was driving me nuts is I'm like, I feel like I'm in the best shape. I feel amazing. My body feels good. I'm like, why am I not swinging faster? Right? I feel like I'm fine. And sometimes, you know, like looking back, it was glaringly obvious now that I know what to look for. But I find, you know, I wasn't looking for the right things in my swing to kind of go, wait a second, like you're screwing up. So what's exciting now is we have found a path where I can now use all this new athleticism and be able to implement this new footwork that allows me to really post up on this left leg, extend, and now also to, as opposed to banking on my right foot, because the way we would kind of set up my swing before is I would push off the side of my foot. Now we really want to rotate that right leg and push and actually use that to turn the pelvis around the swing. Which, again, when I was first doing this at Ryan's, I was like, man, this feels so weird. Like I just don't see a world where this is going to be quickly. Like I don't see a world where I'm going to be able to pull this off quick. But go to the range right after, go to the range the next day, all of a sudden it starts to pick up. And now I feel like I can play golf. So between, you know, Max being like, we can't do this. We go see Ryan. We make those tweaks. We make a little grip tweak where we strengthen the left hand. We're back to interlock grip. No more Fugazi 10-finger grip. And I'm playing great golf. Like I am hitting it. I'm hitting it really good. And I've been able to maintain my ability to aim. That was my big fear, right? Is that I can finally felt like I could aim. I could pick a target and swing to that target and be confident that I was going to get a shape that was moving in that direction. And we've been able to maintain that. And now we're going to be able to supercharge it and get this move to work, which is amazing. So long and the short of it is, you know, picking the right coach and getting the right people around you who, one, know what they're talking about, and two, hold you accountable using their expertise to your end goal. Very important, right? And I think that's probably one of the hidden benefits of Max that maybe he probably doesn't get as much public credit for. And that's what I'm trying to do, you know, and kind of tell the background story here is that, you know, there's no video or swing video or anything like that a student can post to kind of validate that side of their coach. But it's having somebody in your corner who knows where you want to go and holds you to that standard. And I hold myself to that standard, and he knows I do, which is why he has faith and wants to kind of push me. But is willing to be like, hey dude, like we're getting off the rails here. We need to get back on track because for what you want to do, the way you're going about it is not going to work. And then I have to trust him to also go, okay, what is wrong, and address it. And I think that was something that came up this week. And, you know, we've been able to pivot, and he was pretty confident that I was going to be able to turn it around fast, which was nice because I was not so confident and was kind of feeling like, man, I don't know, like I might not be able to be playable for a couple months now, depending on how drastic this change was. So very thankful for that. And guys, again, you know, watch the video with Ryan Hawley. You'll see in this upcoming course vlog. If you have not seen Ryan, you're missing out. You're just missing out, you know? And for me, like having somebody who's coaching a PGA Tour player and getting insights to that level, that's just incredibly valuable for me. And I don't take that lightly. And I just think no matter what level of golf you are, it's just such a necessary thing to go down. So anyway, that's my recap of that and the swing, which is great. And I think that's exciting. And I feel really motivated actually coming out of it, seeing my swing on camera now, because I'm finally seeing some of that athleticism I've been trying to build in with my core strength and things. You know, back in 2021 when I started the swing teardown, I remember looking at videos of like DJ and Colin Morikawa and seeing how much core strength it took to pull off their swings. And that's all I've been working on. No, not all, but I've been working my ass off in the gym to get my body to be mobile and strong enough to hit those positions, you know, and finally being able to get to there now, you know, my body wasn't in a place where I could have done this even a year ago or maybe even a couple months ago. But sticking with the process and just going to the well every day, getting my body into this position, I'm excited to see what I can do 6 months from now. What is a year from now on this swing? I feel like if I can aim now and I'm gonna be able to attack the golf course, like what's another year of this discipline practice of just every day putting in the reps, making sure my body's right, nutrition, sleep, all of those things. There's just no way I can fail by being that consistent. And you know, I'm hopeful that I'm going to be able to see some stuff this year and see some results. There's still like, it's funny, you know, it's like, I still, every time I cross a threshold, right, it becomes like more obvious as to why I'm not where I want to be yet. And I find that very interesting. And it's actually like I get closer to my goal, but then also I go, oh, this is why you're not there yet. And I think that's tough with golf. Like we want to be better than we are all the time. And I know for me, I want to just be, there's a place I envision myself at and I want to be there now. But I also can see now that we've implemented this legwork. Well, I'm like, yeah, but okay, well, I got to work on, there's some mobility issues I still have to iron out. There's some strength stuff. I got to build in a little more width. Like there's things I need to do. My hope is just that my floor of my game now is going to get to a point where it becomes just more playable. And at least I can work on these things while still moving the ball forward. I think this year I'm going to be able to do that versus in subsequent years, that was just not an option. It was just so bad. And there was so much work that needed to be done there was just zero chance of that happening. So that's where we're at with that. You know, and this will help too, dealing with some of the fear of the golf goal. And I find just the fear gets less and less the more I invest in this area. Like the fear just kind of becomes less and less. Like I would say, you know, I was definitely more fearful in previous years. I said the issue now is not fear. I just know I need more. I just need time. I just need time and reps. And it's just time and reps, time and reps, time and reps. And I'm just going to keep doing that every single day. On the health side of things and, you know, just kind of touching on some of the New Year's goals that we're translating, been grinding on the health a lot to make sure that we're dialed in. One thing that's been interesting is that just struggling to put on weight. I'm eating I'm eating like 200 grams of protein a day and just cannot get over 174 pounds. It's wild. I don't know. I guess the answer might be more. But I'm training hard. I'm eating a ton and just the weight just won't move, which I find just interesting. So I know the reason why I want to get to 180 is just because my best ground force numbers were when I was that weight. I think, you know, it'll just give me a little more power in the tank, especially with this new move. I feel like my body just worked really well at that weight. So I'm hoping to just kind of, if I can get 7 more pounds, that'd be phenomenal. So that just might take more time. If I can get a pound a month, you know, by the end of the year, we'll be fine. But I'm just shocked at the struggle it's been to gain weight. And I am eating like a horse. And I'm eating, maybe I might be eating too clean. Like I'm not eating a lot of junk. Like when I bulked up, you know, in 2021, was the end of 2021? I bulked up and started that. It was like, I was a little dirty bulk. And and I got to like 190, but I didn't feel great. So I'm also trying to balance bulking, but do it in a way where I don't cannibalize my energy levels, right? Like I was having, 2 weight gainer shakes a day, plus eating a ton of carbs, plus, all these other things. I didn't feel awesome. And I'm at a point now where I know what good energy feels like. I haven't had caffeine that's a lie. I haven't had coffee in over a year. I cut caffeine entirely because I quit like diet drinks about 5 months ago. Yeah, 5 months ago. Completely no caffeine whatsoever. So I haven't had caffeine or anything. And I feel great. My energy levels are great. So I'm like, I don't want to cannibalize that by, shoveling garbage. So anyway, if any of you have any bulking hacks, throw them in the comments because I definitely need them. So that would be much obliged. And then last thing before we end off here, I've got a comment on a recent YouTube video, and I thought I'd address it here on the podcast because I feel like a lot of people could relate. It's from JBelly624, and he says, I've gone from a 25 down to an 8, which is awesome. My wife and I welcomed our son and my game regressed a bit. I'm hoping to get below 7 this year. Any advice from me? I've worked with the same coach for years and have now started taking my fitness more seriously than in the past. Well, first off, getting from 25 down to an 8, huge. That's unreal. Congratulations. That takes a lot of work and unreal. Also, congratulations to your child and having a kid because that's awesome. Growing a family. Totally understand how, the addition of a little one can, hurt the practice time and do some of that. I would say, trying to get below a 7, a lot of it is if you can work out, like you can do so much away from the course. And I think, for someone like yourself who's got family and things, you're not going to have a ton of time at the course, right? So the key is to get your body ready away from the course so that when you do have time at the course, you're not fighting being sore or stiff or any of those things, right? So working a ton on hip mobility. If you have a job that requires sitting, then you got to do a ton of hip mobility exercises. We're talking, like doing the knee ups, good mornings, seated good mornings. Look up hip mobility routines, and you got to build hip mobility into your week, 3 times a week at a minimum is my recommendation. I think. And I think hip mobility just in general as a human, big win. But I think, especially for golf and for those of us that are not grinding on this every day, is something that like I know for me would have moved me along much faster had I built in hip mobility in early. So doing that's huge. You said you've started taking your fitness more seriously, which is great. Just, continue to work out, continue to build strength, continue to build flexibility. See if you can get maybe a TPI assessment done and see if there's any particular glaring weak spots in your game, in your body that are not optimal for golf. We've all got different imbalances in different areas. So if you have somebody that's TPI certified, wouldn't hurt to maybe get an assessment done. And then you can kind of build these into your life. It's easy to add a 20-minute workout in or add these little mobility things in throughout your day. I think that's the other big thing too with golf improvement. Like I obviously take it to such an absurd level, but I know that's not relatable and that's not how other people can go about it. So I'm not saying follow what I do, but what I have noticed is that there are a lot of small things you can do during the day that don't take up a lot of time. So for example, like knees over toes guy has, some tibialis raises. You can be on a phone call for work and you can be banging out tibialis raises, just standing against the wall. There's certain, like lunges and things like that. Like I will take client calls or, random phone calls or whatever that I'm on, and I can just do some of these hip mobility things just passively. Right. So all those are great things to just kind of do passively and just get your body ready. The other thing is have a putting setup at home where you can basically do all your putting work and all your putting stroke work at home to dial in your stroke. I don't work on my stroke at the golf course. I work on my stroke and alignment at home. And then on the golf course, I'm simply working on implementing that and speed. So having a putting rig set up where you can just knock out a couple hundred putts a day, just randomly, again, while you're on the phone, while you're waiting for an email to come in, while you're waiting for dinner to cook, whatever. You just sneak down, get those in, do whatever. Another thing I've talked about is I think you just need to take swings and hit the ball as often as you can. But I understand getting to the range can be tough. I haven't totally tested this for sure, so I don't want to talk out of turn. But I do think even if you can just buy a cheap net on Amazon and just hit balls for 10 minutes in your house, in your garage, or in your backyard, or wherever, just get the feel of hitting the golf ball. Because I think if you just don't have the feel in your hands of hitting a golf ball, and then you spend too much time in between that is where I find the biggest gaps. Because when you're at the range, yeah, you'll make adjustments if you're building in some bad stuff. You can quickly adjust. But I think you just need to get your body into the feeling of hitting golf balls. So just make sure you're staying up on that and constantly hitting golf balls as much as you can. And these are all things, again, that you can do while you're at home. Put the baby to bed at 7, run downstairs, you hit balls for 10 minutes in your garage, and you can be good to go. Right? Then you can still hang out with your wife. You can still do all those things. I think that's something easy to build in. Then when it comes to, your actual game and building stuff on the course, a lot of what I found for course management, to get to a single digit is just very straightforward stuff, right? So, if you're an 8, you want to get down to below a 7, make sure you have a go-to shot off the tee. Whether, if it's a choke down cut driver, if it's, a 3-wood, a 2-iron, whatever. You need something that can just always get you in play, because there's going to be days when you're off more than your days you're going to be on. And so you just need something that is going to get you in play. And for me, when I was in that period, I had this ropey hybrid I could hit that would just chase out forever. That was a huge, huge shot for me to just get me in play, especially when the driver wasn't cooperating. So I think, if you can send it, great, and you're feeling good, great. But if you can't, just get the ball in play, and that includes par 5s. I think, Decade and a lot of these guys are going to always tell you, always hit driver. But I know when you're in that handicap zone, your driver can sometimes be the most terrifying club in the bag. So don't fight it. And this is where I kind of lean towards, golf sidekick as a course management strategy. Like, I think his course management is extremely applicable to this handicap range and to getting it lower. And so I would follow a lot of his stuff, and I recommend, watching some of his course management tips, because they're great for just kind of getting around the golf course in a very non-egotistical way. And I think it's extremely impactful and extremely useful. So play one shot shape off the tee and have a go-to shot that just works. Eliminate your hero shots. There's no need to hit those ego shots that if you're not practicing and you're not doing things, hitting a forced carry over water in a par 5 when you can easily just kind of, lay up to a more comfortable yardage. There's just smarter ways. If you find yourself in the trees, don't hit the hero shot, punch out to the fairway, get up and down for bogey, or even, give yourself a look at par. Just a lot of those things. Eliminate your doubles. Try not to chip twice. So if you're chipping on the green, try not to hit the super cool high floater. Just, maybe hit something that's a little bit lower flight that gets you on the green. It may end up 20, 30 feet from the pin, but at least you're on the green and you're putting. You don't want to have to chip twice, right? You don't want to duff your chips or line drive them through the green. Simple things like that, And I think if you're someone like yourself who is, dealing with a newborn, you got a family, you've got other priorities, and you're trying to fit golf into your life, I think these are just really easy ways to lower the score and take some of your friends' lunch money in the process. And they're going to be a little rattled because they're going to, be practicing because they don't have a kid at home, and you're going to be out there winning skins and taking their lunch money. So I think, add all these tips up, and it's low cost, low investment. Just takes a little bit extra cognitive brain power and some just discipline to do it every single day. Those things to do at home. And I think those would be hugely impactful. So hopefully this helped. Hopefully this answered your question. And best of luck to you, man. I get down from a 25 to an 8. You clearly got some talent. So, I don't see a reason how you can go from there to an 8 and then not get below a 7. It's just as simple as that. So you just keep going. You for sure got this, homie. All right, guys. So anyway, that wraps the solo pod for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, check out my new glove deal, Kiko gloves, GG10 at checkout. And I am so excited to get back out on the course and get practicing. Also, I did get a car. So I have a new car coming, and I got some cool stuff with that coming as well. And I think similar to what I had with the 12-hole challenge, I think I'm going to put together a series of checkpoints for myself, some data points, and I'll take you guys in some insight on that. And you'll see that roll out on YouTube. I'm going to put together a plan of I got to be shooting these scores at my home course before I do this. I think that'll be good to just kind of put some process in place for moving forward. So all those things coming. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.